When we first bought this house, this yard was neglected to say the least. The first thing we had to do was cut all this grass. I really wanted to flatten out this yard and take care of some of the drainage issues that we were having. So I saw this wall at a house that we were working on. Now, I knew I couldn't do this nice of a job, but I figured it would be a cost-effective way at being able to raise up the upper yard and kind of flatten it out and put some drainage pipe behind it. So I ordered a bunch of rock and I got started. Building the wall.
That's insane.
There's so many roots.
For how long have you been working?
Since I got home.
Which is?
4. What time is it?
6:30 almost.
It's not bad for 2.5 hours. This isn't necessary, but we had the rock and I wanted to move it. Right here, you can see I started digging. Right here is going to be stairs, but because I don't want to fill it with rock, I'll put the first step here and then fill it with gravel and then cut my next step, you know, so that I don't have to move all of this material out. And then probably I'll just, for now, I'll probably just take out this section of grass as wide as the patio, you know,
Yeah.
and just put this gravel so we can move our fire pit like over here or something.
To me, it's all digging.
We'll connect there, but just do that some other day. This was the first part of the wall I did before I talked to an actual professional. You can see how I didn't do what I was supposed to. You're supposed to pick the flat face of the stone and kind of try to align that as best you can with your string. The bottom string is to for alignment on the face, and then obviously the top string is kind of try to keep your top course the same elevation. We're gonna have a step here because obviously that's 3/4 high, and it's gonna come over here and kind of step down a little bit higher than the neighbor's property, but Their dirt is eroding into my property, which isn't good for their house, and it's also not good for our property. So that's what kicked this whole thing off. Anyways,
تو الناس ها. تونا بدينا. جالسة اشتغل معاه. خليني اوريكم الاشياء اللي انا شلتها في هذه. زواب الصخر كله انا شلته.
luckily, my buddy Thomas has a tractor with a grading attachment, and he brought 14 yards of fill dirt to the backyard. I don't think I could have done that with a wheelbarrow. I'm so grateful. Look at those stumps that he pulled out of the ground from the tree that was over there. That took like 2 hours. Thomas and his wife Lindsay have a YouTube channel. If you like this kind of content, then I think you'll really like their channel. Go check them out. So I thought this plant would be really good here because it's going to get big eventually, you know, over a couple of years. To space it out with the smaller plants, boom. And then I thought it would be really neat for this plant and this plant to match, and they're kind of like, you know, you step back and they're kind of symmetrical, not really, but that's okay. And some rosemary, and it's all kind of symmetrical. And then I'll put these janky ass plants down here at the end and see if they survive before I, you know, put a lot of effort into them.
Okay.
So it worked for an hour, and I only lost 1 bar, and it's only on 1 battery. So when this battery dies, you switch it over here, and then this is how you turn it on. And you can do 2 speeds. This is slow.
Speak up.
This is slow, and this is fast. And all you do is take the brake off.
Chris got a no toy. المهم شو وش سوى هنا. هنا راح تكون جلسة، وهنا ما أدري إيش راح يكون.
I didn't really know what to do with this area. I went through a bunch of options in my head. I ended up deciding to form it up and pour a curb so that I could come back later at my own pace and pour some slabs. with just like a Harbor Freight concrete mixer. I know that some people are going to be like, "Oh, you did it wrong. You should have, you know, dug it out and everything." But I mean, this was a year ago, and I haven't had any issues, and I don't really foresee any issues. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a concrete guy, but it worked for us. Here you see the pergola going up. It's painted dark brown, and then I'll have cedar slats at a 30-degree angle. That will allow some light to come through, but not block so much sunlight from the kitchen. So this, I want to put it up just a little bit. I don't know, like in the middle.
Okay.
I was thinking originally to have them go over the top, you know? So
From
that,
the inside?
yeah, on the
Nice.
inside. But so the next project on the list was this fence. I mean, so many of these posts were rotten and not even connected to the ground anymore. How it didn't fall over, I have no idea. At some point you can see that this fence was repaired, and instead of digging the concrete out, they just moved the fence into the neighbor's yard 2 feet. So I needed to put it back on the property line, which is what that string line is. And this was quite an undertaking doing this. Luckily, my neighbor helped me quite a bit, so super grateful for that.
المثل يقول عطل الخباز خبزة لو أكل نصها.
Well, I just figured out why it took 2 hours to get a gate latch.
قلت لك وانا كريس راسل لي صور بيجي بيوم وما يبي يطلع. والله اني فكرته مسجس مع مسامير، في النهاية طلع قفل. Here's a little recap of what the yard used to look like. It took about 2 years to get to this point, but now it's man, it's so much better. My daughter and I planted the arborvitae on the back fence line. The hope is that it'll eventually be like a nice buffer from noise and have some privacy. These are 1 year into it, and they've grown like 2 feet, which is pretty impressive. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the transformation so far, and stay tuned for more videos.